Scratch the surface of security and you get a prompt abridgment of liberty. Benjamin Franklin said to his countrymen, "Those who would give up liberty for security will lose both and deserve neither." Today, there are politicians in every country who fan the fears of the public, who play on the economic difficulties, who promote hatred and xenophobia and the unidimensional view of society, and who use the ensuing distress to build the power base and to dictate to the state the course that it should follow. Yet, human experience and social context are never unidimensional, and neither are we. Amin Maalouf has rightly warned us about those who would seek to label us in unidimensional identities, and he called these rightly murderous identities. The humanists, the idealists, and those politicians committed to public service rather than power seem unable, on your side or ours, to stem the tide of hate mongers, exclusionists, and the servants of Mammon. Despite having infinitely more communication and interaction today than in past generations, we have a world where the mounting evidence of science remains ignored, where the warnings of the thoughtful remain unheeded, where the cries of the dispossessed remain unanswered. A world where the commitment to vision and action has been replaced by a dedication to process without progress. We have lost the quality of our public discourse. Now, the toxic poison of that politics of hatred and fear is such that readings of great works destroy the universality of the creative genius that made them great in the first place, and they slide into various forms of chauvinism. Thus, Nietzsche becomes Nazi propaganda. Kipling becomes jingoism. And on my side of the Mediterranean, the extremists interpret the legacy of Islam as exclusionary and intolerant. What a shame. How can thinking people on both sides of the Mediterranean allow such drivel to dominate the airwaves and the arena of public discourse? Now, I'm not calling for censorship, far from it. I'm calling for action to redeem the values that we hold essential in our historical legacies and current societies. We need to fight ideas with ideas. We need to speak up. We need to repeat the feats of the post-war generation of visionary Europeans. We need to articulate a vision for the future that is worthy of the best traditions of our heritage. We need to remind the public that there is no security without peace, there is no peace without justice, there is no justice without equity, and there is no equity without participation. And that is the meaning of true pluralism, true cosmopolitanism, and that brings me back to my fourth point, which is about Alexandria. The spirit of Alexandria as a guide to the world today. Let us hark back to that spirit of the Alexandria of old, which revered knowledge and sought it from all the cultures of the world, to the spirit of modern Alexandria, which linked Europe and Egypt and beyond. There we can find the thread of Ariadne that will help us out of the labyrinth of false issues and phony problems, and to get us out of the morass we are in. We need to revive that spirit in the context of our times. I am not only an unabashed humanist, as Rob Riemann introduced me, but I'm also an unabashed proponent of cosmopolitanism. I mean, after all, the word derives from the Greek cosmos, the universe, and polis, the city, the universal city. After all, the greatest cities in the world were always cauldrons of cosmopolitanism. By that I mean cosmopolitanism such as was found in ancient Alexandria or ancient Rome, or throughout the cities of the Muslim empires of the Middle Ages, or more recently in the great cities of the West, such as London, New York, Paris, and Amsterdam. All embraced many diverse communities, cultures, and languages, while still having their own distinct character and contribution, dominated by the dominant language of the era and the expression of the locality in space and time. Cosmopolitanism is a philosophical tradition that encompasses many distinguished proponents, from German philosophers such as Kant and Hegel, to African-American contemporary philosophers such as Kwame Ape. Cosmopolitanism allows us to enjoy the richness of our diversity, confident in the strength of our common humanity. Look at India today. Thousands of communities, dozens, if not hundreds, of languages and subcultures, but still unified under the Indian identity. And in Alexandria of times past, that same spirit of cosmopolitanism flourished. We need that spirit revived for the 21st century, and we need to marry it with the best of the European tradition. But to do that, we need to develop new thinking for this new age. Can we do that?